there.
I heard that.
Not happy there, dude. All right there. I think that's 1/3.
Because if I don't have that right, you know what it does? It idles and then it goes like...
Yeah. Well, if you look at the screw slot, see the screw slot?
Yeah.
It's right over here. So it's 11 o'clock position.
Okay.
Which I think is 1 turn.
Okay.
That's where 0 was at. There's half. There's 1. Nope, we're 1.5 out. Okay, it's about 10 o'clock position.
Okay.
So we were turning a half out now. Which is a lot more than it was before. So once it's fully warm, we'll try it again, but we're taking more and more fuel as it warms up.
Okay.
The choke's off. I haven't had the choke on the whole time, so it should be off over there. Yep, she's in. And I shut the accelerometer pump off. You get a little hesitation, so I gave it back half a turn. But you can see how much it goes before it hits.
Yeah.
It goes a long ways, so it doesn't need it when you first hit it.
I don't like it that far.
You know what?
I don't like it that far.
Why?
I like it when it hits right away.
It was taking the throttle though.
Huh?
It was taking the throttle fine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you want to put more fuel in it?
Oh, that puts more fuel in it.
No, I took fuel out of it. It didn't want the fuel.
Oh. Oh, okay.
You think if I put this on more, it's going to make it run accelerate? No. It's the opposite. You put too much fuel, it doesn't run right.
Oh. Okay.
I put it back in until it was taking the throttle like you're wicking it.
Right.
I screwed it in half and it was just a little bit hesitant because you're getting it pretty fast, and then I unscrewed it back to where it was.
Okay.
So right now it's almost all the way off. You got to go 1/8 of an inch gap between the rod right now. So all of that first 1/8 of a turn ain't doing anything
On the throttle.
on the throttle. So I turn them down. Now if you want to put more in there, you can. When you're actually riding down the road, you see how it feels. But
Huh?
when you're riding down the road, you see how you like it. But usually you turn them off, it runs better. They're just too rich. Just putting fuel on them. What?
Hold on.
You making noise? I'm getting nervous. You're watching me. Self-conscious.
Uh-oh.
Shut the fuel off.
That's barely hitting that now. That plastic is barely hitting that needle now.
I know. Don't need it.
Don't need it?
Give me stabilized right there. Now as I was revving up, listen to how the fuel curve is as you're going up and down to the RPM range.
Right.
And I'm also smelling exhaust. See, I don't smell richness. See, we're not being choked out of the building even though the door is basically closed over here.
Uh-huh.
So as I'm going up and down through the RPM range, if you had a rich spot in the mid-range coming up or low end, you would hear it get a little heavy on the exhaust note, or start gurgling, smoking, stinking us out of the room basically. It would stink us out.
Right.
And it's not doing any of that. So that means the fuel curve is pretty good for what we need.
Okay.
The fuel mixture screw is between 10 and 11 o'clock over here.
Okay.
And it's 1.5 turns out basically.
Get it.
And as it warms up, it kind of stabilizes in that position. Now when it's cold, it wanted to be down there 1/3 of a turn to half a turn. And I just been progressively, as I lower the throttle slide in there, I'd have to lean out the mixture screw to make the fuel curve stay the same.
So, when I start it cold, just use the choke?
I don't use a choke. I give it 2 hits with the accelerator pump and crank it. You give it like half a turn right here, and that should hold the idle speed up.
Oh, really?
I don't use chokes.
Oh, okay.
It ain't cold out here. Now Now, if it's 40s out here, and low 50s maybe,
I've
but,
been using that choke every time I start.
well, that's because you like using that choke. You also had the accelerator pump on way hard, too. So, the fuel economy will only go up if you quit using all this fuel. Especially if you quit pouring on the ground like you were doing. You notice how it's not pouring all over the place. So,
Happy camper.
I don't really see anything really wrong in there. We just cleaned things up, looked at it, adjusted the back end, looks good. And it's like most of these times, you don't do much, but you do something when you're in there fixing stuff. Wipe off the excess there. But I did tighten up the air leak, which is the intake manifold back there. If you got any clearance at all on your carburetor, it's sucking air. It affects it. So that's good and tight now. This is good and tight.
So even if it's a tiny bit, it affects it.
It's still gonna, it affects it a little bit.
On the manifold.
Yeah, it's tight. And we got the new gasket down there, or O-ring, so the float bowl is sealed up for sure. It was still not leaking, probably, but it might have been some of that leakage you've been complaining about. You said it was wet down there all the time.
Yeah.
It could have been that. So right now it's all pretty good. So like, so when you start it up, I just give it 2 cranks up there, give this thing about a half a turn to 1 turn more idle speed.
And then fast idle, just turn it down a little.
Once it starts, you want to get it on the idle as soon as you can with the carburetor, and as it warms up, you just slowly unscrew it to get the idle speed you want.
Okay.
That's what's nice about these ding-dongs hanging out here. You can adjust the idle speed.
Yeah.
You don't need to be screwing around the idle mixture, you need to be screwing around with that. Now when the air gets colder or hotter, you have to go back here and play with this a little bit. I mean, you can kind of hear that. When I unscrew it, it starts sounding okay, but then it kind of like picks up the other cylinder you kind of hear it fire more even real quick. That's when you get in a real good spot.
Oh.
I don't know if you can hear it when it drop, that other cylinder kind of came in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like a weak cylinder, heavy cylinder sound, and you got 2 heavy ones right together. That was right where the fuel curve was good. And then you started going too much, you can hear it kind of laboring down a little bit. So that 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock is the sweet spot when it's hot.
Okay.
You want it to be more 11 o'clock when it's a little bit cooler, and then obviously when it's dead cold, you want it to be way down there. But I wouldn't screw the idle mixture. Just turn the speed up a little bit, leave the choke off. You know.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that idle mixture.
Your jets are big enough in here, you shouldn't have to deal with that. And we're not getting a lot of fumes in the building here, so I know the mixture's not too bad.
Okay.
Now there might be a little bit too much main jet way up top. That's why it takes the throttle a little bit harder to get the throttle up high, but it's hard to tell. You have to actually ride the bike and play around that. Usually what I do is I just drop the main jet out of it and see how it runs, and if it runs better, it didn't want it. If it runs worse, it wanted it, so put it back. But it looks like you got we're probably 1 step on both the main and the low speed right now from stock. So we're fine. It's good enough for what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And this is old gas too, that'll change a little bit. So you got half old, half new gas in here. It doesn't smell that bad, it smells like regular gas.
Smells like gas, right?
Yeah, so it's not like it's really old in there. I think you dumped enough of it out and put new stuff in there, it's fresh, relatively. So, but yeah, it runs good. So it's off right now on the fuel. You got like half a float bowl with the fuel in there. If you're gonna let this thing set for a long time, run it out of fuel.
Run it out of fuel?
Yeah, but you're gonna probably start it tomorrow and listen to it, so I know how you are.
I usually start it up like once a week.
Yeah.
You know, and I let it run.
But just drain the float bowl, shut the petcock off, and let it die.
Okay.
You know, run the fuel out of it. That way the carburetor doesn't get all plugged up full of crap.
Oh, when you run the, when you when you shut the gas off, you let it run until it dies.
Yeah, then shut the ignition
Does that clear
off.
the flow bowl?
Yeah, it sucks all the fuel out of it.
Oh, okay.
So if you suck the fuel out of the carburetor, it can't contaminate the carburetor. It can't eat it up. It can't plug it up. You know, doesn't hurt it. And if you want to get all of it out, when it starts almost dying, you pull the choke on. It'll go back up again, and then it starts to die again. You start getting the accelerator pump. You pump all the accelerator pump fluid out of it too, and that drains the whole carburetor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right.
On my old bike, you have a little small hole, like a 1/4-inch hole, and it's a real choke. Shuts it, it chokes it off.
Uh-huh.
So you go 1 click at a time, and every time you go down a click, the RPM comes back up on the bike because it's dying. And then you get down to the last one where it's fully closed, and you just had a little small hole it breathes through. And then finally it dies from that, it's done. It sucked everything out of that carburetor. And it can sit for 2-3 years and it doesn't starts right back up. Put fuel in it, starts right up, no problem. Because you got no fuel in there to contaminate anything.
Right.
So just all you gotta do is shut it off. No big deal. Run it out. Alright, so everything else looks good. I'm assuming the rest of the bike is running correctly.
Yeah. It's really good.
You ain't got much clearance on your choke, on your cable there, but I don't know why you got there's almost no free play in it, but at some point you might need some. Okay, we're good to go. So that was a non-carburetor rebuild. We only put one part, an O-ring.
Right.
All right, that's it.